guys. Welcome back for another episode of the Writers Tribe Talk Show. I'm your host, Elsa Kurt, and today I have Matthew Kenslow with me, and he's talking about his book, Juggling the Issues, and I'm really excited to learn about his story and this book. So, Matthew, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So some really cool things about your book. Again, it's Juggling the Issues, Living with Asperger Syndrome. And this is your story. This is your life. It's short stories, correct?
Yes, it's an anthology of short stories, 29 of them.
That's amazing. And you wrote this when you were 23, is that correct?
Yeah, I had it published when I was 23, but I was writing the book like a year before, like when I was 21.
That's fantastic. And that's a huge accomplishment at such a young age. You know, I know a lot of authors that haven't written their first and published their first book until like in their 60s and 70s. So you are well on your way if you choose to write more. Do you plan on writing more books?
Yeah, I do.
That's awesome. All right. So I don't want to jump ahead. Now tell me about what motivated you to write this book.
I always loved writing. Insofar, I knew that I was destined to be an author. When I was in elementary school, I would write so many different stories insofar of getting disciplined for writing too much. But I always loved creative writing and writing stories, but I never pursued it until I entered my first semester of college. And then I started to write again and thought I'd talk about autism through a fictional piece. And long story short, I published the book that I have now.
That's fantastic. I love that. Now, what makes this story so special, or these collections of stories so special, is that it's some really fascinating insights into your own life and growing up with Asperger's. Tell me a little bit about that and how that has affected you.
I received the diagnosis circa 2001, and that was under DSM-4. And in 2013, that's when DSM-5 came out. So now it's autism spectrum disorder. So colloquially, I say I have Asperger's, but life has been a struggle, but also there were a lot of catharses that I found. Having Asperger's, I view it as like a different lens with which to view the world. And I've determined that there's a lot of pros and a lot of cons, some of the teasing, and also hard to get my mind to shut off at night and when I'm trying to concentrate on studying, testing, and reading. But I found a lot of catharsis, such as juggling and piano and memorizing things.
So juggling is very literal then with this title. You literally are a juggler.
Yes.
That is so cool. I can't even I can't even juggle two things. How many things can you juggle at once?
4 comfortably, but I was able to do 5 a few times.
That's amazing. I'm jealous. I'm not coordinated enough to do that. Now, Asperger's actually brings some amazing abilities. And I always think of anyone with Asperger's as actually being able, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand it as just simply being able to access a part of your brain that the rest of us can't get to. Is that in any way, shape, or form accurate?
Well, I personally view it as like an enhancer plugged into the brain. That's what I described it in my book, and just enhances our perception in life. And I think also makes us more perseverant and determined to memorize. But as far as memorization goes, I personally find patterns in numbers, so it was easy to remember dates. I mean, ironically, I'm bad with names, but I'm good with dates.
Funny, very funny. I get that actually. That makes a lot of sense. Tell me, with writing this book, what was the best part, like the best experience during the whole process for you?
I loved writing, and when you're writing, you could go anywhere and it could take your mind off life sometimes. But another thing that I liked is finally unloading a lot of stuff that was in my heart and in my mind, the good and the bad, and explaining in detail from my perspective.
It's probably an obvious question, but do you think that most people just don't understand and don't know how to communicate with you with Asperger's? Do you sense that, or do you feel that from people in general?
I personally find that there's still a lot of people that can't recognize us in the community yet. And that's why I'm like, I still have some work to do. And I love doing it. I love helping people and encouraging those who are not on the spectrum.
That's
So,
beautiful.
yeah.
I think, we're the ones that need more help than you do, to be honest with you, because our and like you said, it's not recognizing the differences and being empathetic and compassionate to anyone who seems different than us. And for something like Asperger's, you don't look different. You look like everyone else. So, people automatically think, oh, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing different here. So, and they probably don't give you the amount of space to communicate the way that you need to. Is that at all accurate?
Yeah, that part's accurate. But there's another thing that sometimes when people look at me, they do say that I don't see you as a person with special needs. And then other people look at me and think otherwise. And I've received that reception in the neighborhood. I have been kind of yelled at, called out before, cussed at and such.
Mhm.
And that's why I want to just say we're human beings just like you. It's just how our minds work.
What's the most important message that you would like to get out to people to help them understand?
I would say behind the disability, we have a heart and a mind. We could do anything that we set our minds to do. And also don't allow the label of autism spectrum disorder have the right to slow you down because anyone could do what they set their heart and mind to do.
I love that so much. And as far as like the autism community, how inspiring you must be to them and this accomplishment to show that this isn't something that can hold you back. There's really nothing that can hold you back. You just have to decide and you have to navigate this in your own personal way, right?
Right.
I love that. Tell me about the publishing process. How did you find that? Was it easy for you or was it a big challenge? What was the hardest part of the whole process?
Waiting, waiting. I mean, writing was the easy part, but it took many times longer for it to at last be published.
Yes. Yeah. The wait is awful, isn't it? Like you're just so excited to get this out in the universe and tell people about it and share it with people. And then you have to wait and wait and wait. It's very frustrating. I know, trust me. Oh, so what is next for you? Are you working on another book right now or
Actually, I started with a trilogy, actually a fictional novel, but it got so big that I made it into a trilogy that I devote a short story in my book about writing it. But my agent wanted me to come out with a more autobiographical piece than a fictional piece.
Mhm.
So maybe in the near future, I could get the trilogy published, like one book at a time.
That's exciting. That's really exciting. And what a different lane to be writing in, fiction from reality. Which one is harder for you, if either? Is either of them difficult for you?
Not really. I mean, I just love creative writing and I love explaining things.
Very, very cool. So where can everyone find your books and find you? Are you doing any like book signing, book events or anything like that?
Nothing scheduled yet. Hopefully in the future, I would love to and get to meet people and encourage new people. So
That's incredible. I love it. And your book is it correct? It's on Amazon, yes?
yes, it's on Amazon. I've seen it in Walmart.com and Barnes and Noble and can be ordered at any bookstore or library.
That is so great. What else would you like people to know about you and about Asperger's? Is there any special message that you would like people to have as they go into reading your book?
Well, one of the encouragements that I have is my be number one encouragement. And that's something I spontaneously came up with last year. And it's that anyone could be number one. And being number one isn't like a rank like first place, second place, third place. It's or actually being number one means that you're setting your standards based on your own self and not looking at other people, because we all have unique skill sets, and we all have different passions.
That's such great advice. And, I think if more people took that advice and took that to heart, I think they would accomplish so much more, because you're so right. We spend so much time looking at and comparing ourselves to other people and what they're doing and what they've accomplished. And it tends to deter us from, attempting for the goals that we want to accomplish. So I like that. Just focus on yourself and your own goals, and only competing with yourself, right? Like there was a saying, something to the effect of, the only person I compete with is the person I was yesterday. And I always like that, because it just, I think it puts things in a good perspective. So I love that mindset. That's great advice. Do you have any plans, or do you already mentor anyone who is wanting to write a book, particularly anyone with Asperger's syndrome or on the autism spectrum? Is that something you'd be interested in doing or are doing?
I would be interested in mentoring. I haven't mentored one-on-one specifically for writing, but I have been asked an interview question in the past where I give advice for writing, such as there's a lot. I would recommend getting a notebook and taking down notes and such, and also once you're done writing, give it a few days and then read it over for flow, and then take it from there. So.
I love that. That's professional level advice there. If you listen to, some of the top authors in the world, that's the type of advice that they give. So you are right on level with pro authors. So, well, you already are a pro author because you're a published author. So that makes you a pro. Yeah, fantastic advice. I would love to see you do that, do some mentoring and stuff, because there's so many people out there that could use the kind of encouragement and knowledge that you have. I think that's just wonderful.
Yeah, and I would like to just have fun with it too. Don't get bogged down, but have fun with it.
Yes. Don't treat it like it's a chore. It just absolutely. And I agree with you so much. Just enjoy the process. And I love what you said before about just, kind of I'm paraphrasing you, not your exact words, but basically kind of getting lost in your own story and just going into this whole other world. And it's so amazing to be able to create other worlds like that and stories for other people to read. And it's such a gift. And I'm so glad that you're sharing your gift with everyone. That's amazing.
Thanks. My pleasure too.
Outstanding. Do you have, is there a website also or no website?
No, I'm just on social media, YouTube and Instagram, Facebook and TikTok.
Nice. Oh, I love it. My favorite place. TikTok is my favorite. I know I'm too old. Don't say it. But I already know I'm too old for TikTok, but I'm there anyway. Do you have a favorite platform? Where do you spend most of your time on social media? Where can they find you the easiest, I guess, is really what I want to know.
I spend the majority of my time on Instagram and YouTube, but TikTok's relatively new to me. I started last May, but I spend more of my life YouTubing.
Nice.
Making YouTube videos.
Awesome. What's the name of your YouTube channel? Is it just your name or?
Yeah, first and last, Matthew Kenslow.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, Matthew, this was such a joy to finally get to meet you and hear about your book and your story and all the great things that you're doing. I would love for you to come back on again when your next book is published, or when you're getting ready to publish it. Either or, you can kind of give us a preview or just some little insights into it. That would be really cool if you're willing.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Awesome. All right, guys, this has been the Writer's Tribe Talk Show with our guest, Matthew Kenslow. He's the author of Juggling the Issues, Living with Asperger's Syndrome. I don't know why I can't say that word today, but there we go. We got it out. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care. Hey, family, if you're looking for the perfect gift for the reader in your life, why not check out one of my books? They're all available on Amazon and most major online book retailers, as well as elsakurt.com.
Hey guys, Elsa here. I want to share a really exciting opportunity I have for you. If your goal is to write and publish a book, but you're overwhelmed and uncertain of the process, I've got something amazing for you. It is an audio course called Path to Authorship that I have created especially for new and aspiring authors. I have been exactly where you are right now. When I began my writing journey, I took a leap of faith, flew by the seat of my pants, and landed on my face. I made a lot of mistakes along the way, but that's okay because I learned so much from each one. It's because of these growth experiences that I can help you on your journey. So whether you've just started writing your manuscript or you've had one ready and waiting for years, something has held you back. Well, now you can stop postponing your dream because help is here. As a traditionally and self-published author of over 20 books, plus countless articles, blogs, and writer's guides, and having appeared on author panels, television, YouTube, radio, and print, plus my own podcasts, I've learned quite a bit about the writing, publishing, and promoting process. Now I'm ready to share what I've learned with you. Inside this amazing course, the roadblocks to writing and how to overcome them. Discover what kind of writer you are, setting goals, creating and implementing a routine, word count goals, all the fundamentals of writing, editing, types of editors, publishing, your book cover and title, promoting and marketing, and so much more. If you're interested in this amazing opportunity to get your writing journey started, check out the link in the